Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
Dr. Nicholas Michels is the amazing authority today, and you truly will find something amazing about him. When we met just a few moments ago, we had the pre-interview before this interview, he revealed something that's going to shock you. Welcome to the show, Dr. Michels.
Hey, thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thanks, Mitch.
I got to dig into this.
Mm-hmm.
Who turns down $8 million?
Someone who's crazy.
Well, let's dig into your craziness.
It was, you should have seen the look on my wife's face. I mean, when we got offered it, and never in my wildest dreams would I think that, oh my goodness, A, be offered that, but B, turn it down. It just never really crossed my mind. But I started to see things in the financial industry. I started to see things that I didn't agree with, cracks. And it was just corporate greed was real. And it wasn't every financial institution or every financial advisor, but just things that I just couldn't get on board with. And I went home and I told my wife. I remember like it was yesterday. I said, babe, I can't do this anymore. I think we should open up our own company and do things our way that really are going to help people. And you know what she said, Mitch? Didn't even hesitate. Didn't even say, okay, hey, let's sit down and talk about this. Without even hesitating, she goes, let's do it.
Was she in the business also?
She was. My wife has been in the business. And then we run the company together. So she's right here with me, which is so much fun. We enjoy it. So we get to do a lot of things together and integral parts of our lives connecting. And so that's enjoyable building it and building it together. It's fun.
So what do you talk about at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, great question. So on date nights, because I love it. Like this is like chocolate cake to me. It's like college football. I could do it all day long. So I'll make a point, certain times, certain things, we don't talk business. But we also have 4 kids. So we've got a lot of things to talk about at 6 o'clock.
Oh my gosh. All right. That's a busy household. And here's what's interesting. I come from years ago, the brokerage business. I was with a big wire house, as they were referred to back then, a long time ago. You were with a wire house, and we're talking today. You made that decision to go off on your own with your wife. What happened? What was the breaking point? And then you had this, I guess, moral and ethical dilemma that was presented to you. Do I take $8 million and basically prostitute myself, sell my soul to the evil wirehouse devil, or wherever they were offering you the money? What snapped in you? Was it something spiritual, or was it ethical, or what?
It was a lot of that. It was actually a combination of both, because from my point of view, like my faith, spirituality, and ethical, they go hand in hand. And so it was just seeing behind the curtains of a lot of things that I didn't know when I first got in the industry. I mean, as you're in an industry longer, you just start to see things and you become aware of them. And then it's really eye-opening. And then when I saw that and saw some of the things that I saw, that, corporate greed is real, bottom dollar thinking, it reminded me of this story one time, is that I had a friend who's retired in the business now, but he was having a conversation with his office manager in the financial industry. Now, I didn't personally witness this. It didn't happen to me, but this story illuminates what things that I saw. And the office manager comes to my friend, the other financial advisor, and says, hey, in every transaction, there's 3 parties. 1, the financial institution, 2, the financial advisor, and 3, the client. Only 2 need to make money. And you start to see things like that, and that's real. And now, again, not every financial institution is like that. Not every financial advisor is like it. It really is. And it's. I mean, like again, I wasn't a part of that conversation, but I just saw things like similar to that, and I want to know part of it. And what I love about having your own company, and if something changes in the world where we think is good and beneficial for the families we serve, we get to take advantage of it. If things change within the world of the industry that we feel that art is not going to help the families that we serve, you don't have to worry about it. So you kind of get to guide the ship and really just be specific and detailed on how you help people and what you think is best. And that freedom is amazing.
Let's see your book. Now it's sitting there subtly. All right, so there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Rich
Mm-hmm.
is a choice. Oh, it's rich
Rich
by
by
choice.
choice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Rich
What
by
does it
choice.
cover? I mean, great cover, by the way. I do love
Thank
the
you.
design. Yes.
So Rich by Choice is two things because this book is unique. It's not your typical financial book where it says, "Hey, you need X percentage in an emergency fund or this, that, or a PE ratio," and those are all things that are really important. They really are, Mitch. But this book takes the reader on a journey where it's about life of, hey, let's understand who's important to you. What's important to you? What's your money psychology? What are your own personal strengths and weaknesses? Because we all have them, myself included, you as well. How do we harness the strengths but protect ourselves? Have specific safety nets from the weaknesses. What's the exact life that you want to live? And then and only then do you start aligning things. Because at the end of the day, Mitch, it's not, no one says, hey, I wish I would have made more money or worked longer when we're about to pass away. Nobody
100%.
says that. It's the people in your life. But here's the thing, the reality, it costs what? What does it cost, Mitch, to live life?
Money.
It does. And it's just the
It's
way
the
it is. And so
reality.
it really is. So money, it's like a paradox. It's everything, but it's nothing. And so it's fascinating. So that's what it does. And rich, and when I talk about this, when I talk about rich, it's rich in life, rich in love, be a billionaire with hugs and kisses from your grandkids, be a multimillionaire with experiences with loved ones. Like rich in context. And then the choice is everybody's got a choice. I mean, how great is that?
Well, and we've heard the proverbial balance life. What
Mm-hmm.
is the balanced life for you, and what have you seen
Yeah.
in your life
Mm-hmm.
of the happiest people? I mean,
Yeah.
money has to be part of it. People that say, "Oh, I don't
Oh,
care about money," baloney.
yeah.
I've been rich
Uh-huh.
and I've been poor. Rich is better.
Absolutely. It is. Yeah, and I'm going to change that word from balance. And Mitch, I'll use the word intentional.
Okay.
I mean, and let me just say anything, but being intentional. The happiest people that I know understand what their happiness island is, and I talk about that in the book. Like it's who makes you the happiest. What are you doing? What's the life you're going to live? It's Tuesday afternoon, 10 years from now, and you're in retirement. Like, what are you doing? Like, they know what moves the needle in their life, and they're very intentional about their calendar, their daily actions, how they're building wealth, or what it's going to be used for. So that's the biggest thing is that the happiest people I know what's important to them, know who's important to them, and they're in a financial position to be able to live out that life in peace and freedom. It's not more, 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 which again, there's nothing wrong with success and having more, but just for the sake of more. But it's when they understand both sides of the fence of, okay, hey, this is what I want, this is what's going to make me happy, this is who's important to me, this is my future life. Okay, now what do I need to do to make those dreams come true or sustain that life?
Well, you've got 4 kids. You have
I
a wife. You
do.
work with your wife. That could be
Hmm.
either the biggest nightmare or the greatest partnership
Hmm.
of Dr. Michael's life.
Hmm.
Some advise it, but obviously it works for you. And I asked, what
Hmm.
do you do at 6 o'clock when you come home after
Hmm.
working all day together at 6 o'clock? But you come home to 4 kids. What are their ages?
Hmm. So we've got a 19-year-old son, a 10-year-old girl, a 5-year-old son, and a 2-year-old little girl. We've got a big gap. We were on a date night probably 4 years ago, and it just came to us that, hey, when we're, 65 and looking back, if we'd probably be happiest if we had another kid. And so we went home crazy, had a fourth kid. Just, I mean, I don't know what we were thinking, but it's a lot of fun.
Wow. Is that it? Is the factory closed? Or
Yes, we're done. We're done. That's four, two boys, two girls, and a dog, and we're good.
all right. And is there a white
Hmm.
picket fence or is it
Nope. No, it's organized chaos.
okay?
Um,
And how important is faith in terms of including that into the formula, let's say rich by
hmm
choice? Does that matter to you?
It does to me, to my personal life. I'm very honest. I talk about faith in there, and I'll tell you this a little thing that happened in my life. But I'm going to be very upfront about this. Is in this book, and I have a note to the reader that talk about, hey, even if you don't believe what I believe, and
Hmm.
maybe we differ, or my favorite color is orange and your favorite color is blue, I still care about you. This book can help you, and I want to help you. And so I try not to be black and white in the sense you have to do what I do and believe what I believe, or no, I don't like that.
Thank
My
you
goal
for
is to
that.
help people. No, it is. I appreciate that, and I'm very upfront about that. That my goal is to help. And it was several years ago that I was sitting in church, and my pastor's name was Pastor Rick, and he was doing this series, and the series was titled "What the Bible Doesn't Say." Fascinating, because
That
and he
is.
went
That's an
through
interesting
it.
track.
It really was. Now, the first one you've probably heard this very common is, hey, people think the Bible says money is evil. And no, actually, if you look at it, the Bible says money is the root of evil, or the lust of money is the root of all evil.
Correct.
Not money.
Correct.
Money's amoral. And that's a very popular one. But the next one is when it really caught my attention. So Pastor Rick starts a series by telling the story. He's in seminary school. Pastor Rick's best bud comes up to him and goes, "Hey, did you know that gambling is a sin and against the Bible?" And my Pastor Rick goes, "I'll bet you $100 you can't find anywhere in the Bible where it says gambling's a sin."
They just gambled.
And that's the joke of it. But the bottom line is it caught my because for whatever reason, and I'm not here to promote gambling or talking, I'm just saying it caught my attention that there's certain things, a lot of things that I thought that people say that, hey, it might be bad. And being a person of faith, I've read the Bible a lot, but I never read it all the way through. So at that point, I said, it's so if you read 3 chapters a day, it takes you a year. 6 chapters a day, it takes you 6 months. So I read it all in about a year. And it completely changed my life because of two ways. One is when you really understand something and you try, and I'm far from perfect, but try to live in a manner that aligns with what you believe. There's peace in that. But also, I did this when I was going through my CFP, my CPWA, my DBA, my doctorate. So I was doing a lot of education in the financial world, business world, and I was reading the Bible. And it came to me that they say the same thing, that some of the most successful, most intelligent people in world history in the Bible, there's a lot of similarities. Now, not that you have to believe what I believe, but it's really good advice. And so I talk about some of those things in the book. So you ask me, where's faith play? And faith plays a lot, just not only belief in how I live my life, but also, I mean, I think the Bible is one of the greatest business books ever written. And
Oh,
so I
I would
talk about
agree.
that.
You know, it's
Hmm.
another good book, and I read it because I was curious. I'm always
Okay.
curious. As I remember, I took a comparative religion course in college in my
Okay.
undergraduate, and I was curious. I read about Islam, so I read the Holy Quran. I thought, why
Okay.
not be informed? Because
Okay.
they're our purported enemy, and they're really not. They're more pious than most Christians I know, meaning they pray
Mm-hmm.
5 times a day and they've got their routines. And I found
Mm-hmm.
more similarities than dissimilarities.
Mm-hmm.
Faith
Yeah.
in a higher power, God, they call it
Mm-hmm.
Allah, but it's the same, it's monotheistic, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And people have to educate themselves before they render an opinion. I found to
Oh,
be so important is educate yourself, then you can be part of the conversation. If not, zip it.
and that's what I advocate. And I talk about that in the book as well. And this is just one chapter, by the way. But I say, hey, read the Bible. Don't believe me. Read the Bible or read books for yourself. Because now I'm at a point in my life where someone might say, hey, the Bible says this. Or if you're a Christian, you have to do this. And I'll kind of know. Not that I know it all, but I'll kind of know. And I don't argue with people. But it's a very freeing to be educated is a very freeing feeling because you can't be manipulated by what other people say because you have an idea. And then also too, like I said, it's peaceful. Like what you believe in your heart when you're trying to live it out a certain way, there's joy in that. And so I challenge people all the time. Hey, don't. And also I'll talk to kids. I'll say, don't believe what I say. Go research it and find out where if I'm wrong. And I love doing that because what are they going to do, Mitch? They're going to go and they're going to educate themselves, which is great.
That's smart. You're going to give our viewers slash listeners a gift today. Tell us about your
Mhm.
gift because
Yeah.
everybody likes
So
early Christmas. It just passed, but
everybody likes kids. Yeah, like if they go to the website, which is www.richbychoicebook.com, richbychoicebook.com, and right there on the home screen, there's a green box and it says free gift. and you click on compounding by choice. And this specific chapter, we're going to send you a PDF absolutely free. We've gotten more success stories about this chapter than any other chapter, and it's wonderful. And why? It's because it's a little bit different, Mitch. When I think about compounding, or you think about it, what do you think about? What comes to mind? Just the word compounding.
Growth.
That's it. Yeah, compounding interest. That's what people talk about. But what it talks about, helps you understand is every area of your life is compounding right now. Every single area. It's either compounding for good or compounding for bad. It's either
Absolutely.
growing like a mutual fund or a real estate investment, growing, or credit card debt going negative. And so what it does is it gives you simple, easy exercises to start understanding the areas in your life and the people in your life that are real meaningful, that move that happiness island. And then it gives you little small strategies, daily strategies you can start incorporating that's going to start moving the needle because most people they'll say things like, "Hey, I'll only be happy when I get to $1 million, or I'll only be happy when I have a 10 million or 100 million, or whatever. I find Mr. or Mrs. Right." But it's actually research shows is that when you start the journey of taking small little steps towards those goals, small little steps and actions and strategies towards, hey, what's going to make you happy, the life that's going to bring you joy, that's when joy and peace start to evolve more in your life. And so if they like richbychoicebook.com, click on free gift, green box, compounding by choice. We're going to send it to you. And that's what I love. I love that. And people love, they told me that, hey, we love books that give you good ideas, but if they give you little action strategies to actually make a difference in your life, they're very grateful for that. And so that's why we received a lot of feedback.
I think when you mentioned the most successful people have a lot of traits in common, I'll call it the common
Oh,
denominator of
mm-hmm.
success. They seem
Mm-hmm.
to have an intentional slash balanced life, as you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned. You
Yeah.
talked about your
Mm-hmm.
faith. You look like you're in shape, so I presume you exercise. Do you
Mm-hmm.
do you take a certain amount of you time where or vacation time with the family or by yourself? Do you separate? Do you feel like that clears your head?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, it does, and that's so every year you map out what's intentional to you. Like creating memorable experiences with my wife and kids, my family is very important to me. Even from a young age when we didn't have a lot of money, we invested in spending time together in what vacations because we think that's an investment. So absolutely it is. You need to, and so you talk about I call them virtues of success. And it's funny that you bring that up, Mitch, because I think all your listeners need to know that think about a ladder right here. If I put a ladder up and that's my hand, on this side of the ladder, everybody wants to have. They want a new car, they want a bigger house, they want, this or that, new clothes. And then under that on this side is also people, to do. You need to take action, which is very important. I'm not knocking either one of these. But the one side that a lot of people not talk about is who you are, who you're becoming. Who are you? Because I see more characteristics over here that if you can become the person that you need to be to achieve the success level, if you focus on this over here, you'll start taking the right action and you'll get what you want. But not a lot of people talk about that. You talked about virtues of success. Like, look at Benjamin Franklin. He worked on certain things for months at a time, those virtues, to become a great person who accomplished all those things. And not a lot of people talk about that. I'm happy that you brought that up.
Well, you got to put in, you got to do the reps before you get big biceps, don't you?
You do. That is. I
You
mean,
got to put
you
in the
for
reps, and you got to also work
mm-hmm.
on the triceps. With that muscles, you got to balance everything, or you're going to look
Mm-hmm.
funny. It's I think about the bodybuilders, some of these guys at the gym, at least when I was growing up, that had big upper bodies, and they would focus on the
Mm-hmm.
bench press, and then they had
Yeah.
these stick legs.
They did. Yeah. It's so true. And I have a basketball background. I played professional basketball in Europe before going into the financial industry. And
How
I
tall are
always get a
you?
question. I'm 6'2". And
Okay, so
so
you were a
yeah,
guard.
I was a guard. And so interesting in the basketball world, I'm sure in the business world, I'm average to tall. And so what they'll say is like, what did you learn from athletics, playing sports? And I'll tell them that, all these great athletes, I used to do basketball camps for kids all around the world. And I'll
Oh,
say, hey, you might see a proven product, whether it be Michael Jordan, LeBron James, whomever you like, Tiger Woods, any type of sport. What you don't see is the thousands upon thousands of hours and repetitions that happened for decades before they got on the big screen. What I love about money in business, Mitch, is it's the same thing. Money in business is a skill, but the difference is, and this is exciting, that LeBron James being 6'8", 250 pounds of just natural ability, he has an advantage. But guess what, Mitch? You and I, it's an even playing field. That yes, there might be small advantage, but anybody can become super successful. Anybody can develop the skill for money. Just about anybody. I mean, that's exciting. It's a choice, and so that's fascinating. And it should inspire everybody that hey, no matter where you're at right now, you can change your stars. I mean, we live in the United States of America. It's one of the greatest countries ever, if not the greatest country. If you want to go into real estate, go into real estate. You want to own a restaurant, go into a restaurant. I mean, you get all
We
these
have
freedoms.
options. We
We
have
do,
options,
and
Americans.
it does. I mean, have you've traveled a lot, haven't you, all around the world?
63 countries.
Okay, how many places have you been to where it, so many places where it's just you don't have those options and that freedom?
I
Now,
would
is it,
say out of
yeah.
the countries I've been to, I mean, I spent time in Dubai, produced events there. If you tie in, and the network is really important. I would say who you
Mm-hmm.
associate with, you're
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of people that will claim you're within 5% of the top five people you rub elbows with. I tend to
Okay.
agree because mindset's contagious.
Mm-hmm. I do agree with that. I mean, you're an average of some of who you surround yourself with, and you talked about virtues earlier. A lot of very successful, especially in business. I mean, they're joining masterminds. They're even paying money to be around more educated, smarter, successful people. And I'm one of them. I'm huge into positive growth mindset because what's great is yes, you become a sum, but you know what I also realized, Mitch, is you realize that they're human just like you and that you can do it. It's almost like a confidence builder that, you share ideas and you help each other along. But then you realize that, hey, we're all human. Like if someone else can, accomplish this, like they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like you and I do, we can do it too. It's just what are their daily activities that they're focusing on? And so it's very rewarding.
That's cool. Well, all right. So they can go to
Mm-hmm.
richbychoicebook.com, get the free
Mm-hmm.
chapter, learn
Mm-hmm.
more. And in your day job, how do you make money? How do you help
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, I do better by helping other people do better. It's a good question. We actually specialize in six different areas. We do what the book does in helping, like when people come in, they'll start talking about numbers and dollars and cents and spreadsheets and all this stuff. And I tell them that's wonderful, but I'll first say, hey, I care about you and your family more than I do your money. And that's where we start. I mean, understand all those things I talk about in the book, the life that's gonna give them the most joy, not only when they're here, but when they're gone. And then the
Legacy.
exact that's it, and it's so important. But then we dive into a deep dive into six key areas. One is investment consulting. How do you make smart decisions with your money? I mean, that's the number one financial need across especially affluent families in America. But number two is, and three are what's called wealth enhancement. That's tax mitigation, increased cash flow. Huge. Mitch, I can't tell you a lot of people, even high net worth families that come to us, they're not getting tax advice, being proactive with tax strategies. People talk about asset allocation. Not enough people are talking about asset location. So this is
Mm,
huge. And it is, and not just looking at taxes over 1 year, but looking at taxes over the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. That's big, increased cash flow, you know, um, asset protection. Not only asset protection, but protecting, a lifestyle going forward, wealth transfer, which is making sure your loved ones are taken care of. But then the last one, all of our clients, we check mark those five boxes. Last one's very rewarding too, because once you check mark those five boxes, you're taken care of, your life's taken care of, you have enough money, your family's taken care of. Now it's, hey, how do we make a larger impact on the world? That's fun. I mean, I've got some pretty unique stories where I'll tell you about, we get into it another time, but I'll tell you I have clients that weren't really excited about legacy planning. Even ones who some of them didn't have kids and family, they just thought about it. But you start looking at the world, the impact you could make, they get excited about that because it's fun to think about, hey, what you've built here can make a huge impact to others. Not just now, but 100 years from now.
that's great. Yeah,
Hmm.
when you talk about tax mitigation
Hmm.
or not evasion, but smart choices, many of my
Yeah.
high net worth friends live in Puerto Rico now because it's
Okay.
4% tax all in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I moved to Nevada during the pandemic. I'm
Hmm.
originally originating from California because I didn't want to go back and pay 13% state income tax. I mean,
Yeah.
you're in Texas, I'm sure not by
Hmm.
accident. unless you're a native.
I am a native, born and raised. Just God bless me. I worked out. I call that a God wink. He was looking out for me. I love Texas. I love the warm weather. But yeah, the United States Constitution is very clear. It's our job to pay our fair share, no more, no less. And why I say that is there are tax rules and tax codes. You can't be mad at someone if they're paying less than taxes. Now, if they're breaking the law, that's different. But if they're
That's
using
yeah.
tax strategies, what's within the tax code, and that's what we do. And people love that because, like you talked about, the difference between 13% and 4%. I mean, compound that over 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that's a significant amount of money. And there's a lot of tax strategies out there that people, they're not even aware of. I mean, that are there for them, and they're just not taking advantage of it. And so I think it's important.
Well, so when I made the choice to come back to America, actually, it was
Hmm.
compulsory to leave Thailand at the time. The idea of going back to California just turned my stomach because when you're overseas, tax is minimal. I mean, if you're out of the
Hmm.
country 330 days, you're
Hmm.
eligible to get a huge, I think it's the first 140 grand is wiped clean. It's out,
Yeah.
it's off your adjusted gross income. So I thought, oh my gosh, am I going to pay
Hmm.
California taxes again? So I used that smart strategy. I'm sure you discussed that in the book. Like you said,
Oh,
that's one of the tenets is tax. What do you call it? Tax management or tax avoidance or mitigation?
Yeah, tax mitigation is wealth enhancements, increased cash flow and tax mitigation.
Sure, sure.
And so it's the same thing. It's just proactive tax trade, looking at things, understanding things. And a lot of financial advisors, they don't get people's tax returns, which is shocking to me. I mean, the ripple effect that over thing of things that happen in their tax life and what we do. I mean, there's a huge ripple effect and overflow. And so I think it's so important. And I get this question, Mitch, a lot. They'll say, well, we do have clients in California or any state, and they'll say, hey, I could get a smaller house or excuse me, a less expensive house at some other place around the United States or pay less taxes. And the first thing I tell them is, okay, yes, that is something we definitely want to look at, but you just have to weigh is, again, going back to be intentional. Is it worth it? Are you happy there? Is it bringing you joy? There's going to be a cost associated, but let's understand what the life that's going to make you the most happy, and then we can start talking about financial strategies as well. Because, like you said, uh, it, it, money you need it, but it's not everything. I mean, how many people do you know, Mitch, that have a ton of money and they're not happy?
Fewer than the people who have no money are unhappy. So I
That's
believe the wealthy people are happier because life
okay.
allows them choices.
That is, I'll give you that. There's some more freedom in where they shop. I do. But like you said, like I said earlier, there's several forms of wealth because I do know people that, might not have the greatest relationship with their kids. And they're glad to give up
Love
some of
of
the money to
money, as
have
you
it.
mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So there's nothing wrong with having money. There's nothing wrong with being rich. But it's just you want to make sure and like you said, balance or being intentional of, hey, what are all the things that are gonna make you happy? Now, money is definitely one form of wealth that you definitely do want. And wealth is subjective.
Truly is. Well, you've been a great guest, Dr. Michels.
Hey.
And for the book, they've got that information. In order to get in
Mm-hmm.
touch with you directly, if they want somebody that gives them the comprehensive wealth assessment, let's just call it,
Mm-hmm.
or life
Yeah.
assessment, it's more than just
Mm-hmm.
wealth, life assessment, where do they reach out to you?
The same website. There'll be a thing that says contact Nick, and you'll first talk with my team, obviously, because we get so many people wanting, to speak with me. And so you first talk to them, and then if it's a good fit and we really can help you, we'll set up a time and talk with me, and then you get our full team services. And so we love it. Mitch, it's one of those things when I was younger, I was an intern, and when you see, and you know this, when you see the actual benefits, kind of when you go mow your grass, you can actually see the job that you've done
Sure.
when looking back. Well, it's the same way. When you see the impact that it makes on people and the joy they have in your life, every human being is the same. They want to avoid pain and gain pleasure. How do you overcome concern and add joy? And so when you see that, I love what I do. It's a lot of fun. So I'm grateful.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time today. And we'll have you back in the future for sure.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thanks for tuning in to the Amazing Authorities Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to MitchCarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.